Hey, good morning guys. I'm the Tech Prepper. So I'm filming this slightly out of order. I realized in just watching part one of the RV upgrade that I didn't show you the disassembly. So this morning I actually started to film the kind of completed project. So let's take a step back. So part one we left it where we had I had all the prep ready to go, and part two was going to be basically the removal and cleaning of the compartment. So we'll talk about that right now, and then we'll talk about the installation and some problems I ran into. So the the removal of the items in the compartment went really well. So I started by disconnecting the main negative, then disconnecting the negative for the parallel connection, and then went ahead and went through and disconnected the positive leads. Pulled out the batteries, they were in pretty rough shape. At that point, the compartment was pretty much bare bones. I went ahead and did a fairly decent cleaning in there with the shop vac, and then I went ahead and started cleaning the connections or the lugs. There was quite a bit of corrosion on the lugs, and I just hit it with a wire brush, and that took a little bit of time. So at that point, I thought I would go ahead and drop in the Battleborn batteries. And long story short, they did not fit, and I had to go and make some adjustments and modify the battery compartment. So that's what I guess we're going to call part three is. So stay tuned, and hope you look forward to part three. If you guys hang in there, there's also a quick tour of the RV. A little shaky, but I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, stay tuned for part three. Thanks, guys. Hey, good morning, guys. I'm the Tech Prepper. So this is part two of the lithium iron phosphate battery upgrade for our RV. I had some challenges with the Battleborn installation. So let's get right to it, and I'm going to show you what we've done since the last video and some of the issues I ran into and how I worked through those issues. I still have to do the install for the lithium iron phosphate board, the power converter. But the current lead acid power converter will work for right now. So what I want to do is show you where we're at and then give you a walkthrough as I'm testing the electrical system. So I just finished the install yesterday of the batteries themselves, but I have not gone through and done a thorough check of the DC and AC systems. All right, so the Coachman 2018 Leprechaun, the 240FS, has the batteries in the stairwell compartment. And what we had to do in order to drop in the Battleborn batteries was modify the enclosure a bit, cut and with a grinder this area of the enclosure on both sides, and installed a couple of hinges. And the thought here when we were doing this, neighbor and myself, was to be able to drop this far enough so that I could drop the batteries in at a slight angle to clear it. And as you can see, they are now working perfectly fine. There is really no play anymore. I have probably less than 1/8 of an inch with these batteries in here, so it is quite tight. It's funny, I called the local RV shop in the Phoenix area, and they quoted me $750 to $1,000 to basically put a hinge like this. So I know it's not perfect. You can actually see I do need to paint here a bit. The lines are not perfectly straight, but they will do. The other thing I did was there was a gasket, but there still is a gasket around the lip. I did cut off the section that ran along this side here, and then I repurposed them and dropped them here on the side. So it's a really snug seal. There's no vibration whatsoever. So it worked out nicely. The other issue I ran into was the terminals themselves. So on the Battleborns, while the terminals are vertical, the screws come through horizontally. So hopefully we're zoomed in far enough. So on these terminals in the back, I had very little room to get in there. In fact, I wasn't able to use a socket wrench like I was in the front, or on a traditional lead acid battery where you just use the terminals on the top. Instead, I had to basically just get back there with 2 wrenches, 2 half-inch wrenches. So it was a little bit of the chore, and the cables were a bit longer as well. So I did have to kind of flat this down. So in a perfect world, I probably would cut down the cables a bit more and then crimp my own lugs on. But it's all working. So yeah, that was day 2 or 3 of the install. So day 1 was basically the cleaning. Day 2 was finding out that we needed to modify this and add a new compartment. Day 3 was the actual wiring. Okay, so this is day 4, and what I want to do is just test the voltage on the batteries. And we're at 13.37 volts on the first battery. .37 on the second battery. And just testing across both to make sure we're in parallel, 13.37. So that all looks good. I haven't charged them. They came from the factory like this. In fact, both batteries were fairly close to each other when they came in. So let's go ahead and close up our setup here. The first thing we want to do is go to our battery disconnect and turn it on. And I'm hearing a couple things already click on. And we're going to go to our panel here. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at the battery readout. So it's showing us full. In the future, I'm going to be changing out this panel for an LCD panel, something that gives us a bit more sophisticated readouts. So that looks good. We're also going to go ahead and test the auto level jack since that runs off of DC power. So we're going to turn that on. And we're going to auto level the rig. All right, guys, so the next thing we're going to do is deploy the awning, and that's a full-length awning. And we're still just running on battery power at this point, so we're just going to deploy the slide out. All right, guys, so we have the awning fully deployed. Let's go ahead and jump inside the rig. Actually, before we do that, check this out. So I've got the jack stands fully deployed, and as you can see, we're about 2 or 3 inches off the ground in the front so that we could get leveled out. For those of you who have older rigs, I got to tell you, having the auto deploy jack stands is absolutely a lifesaver. We just get to camp, push the button, and we are fully leveled. So it's been a while since we've been inside the rig, so apologies for any mess. But let's go ahead and check out the lights. And I'll give a quick tour on the fly. So we've got one light on. Got a second light. We've got the lights in the master bedroom and the lights in the walk-in closet. So we actually have pretty good ability to move around the RV when the slides are closed, but let's go ahead and test that DC system as well. So again, most of the controls on this rig are right here, so we're just going to go ahead, slide everything out. And there you go. There's the slide out. So apologies for any mess. It's been a while. And the slides are fully deployed at this point. So that was another system that I tested. And you can see we have quite a bit of room with the full-length slide out popped out. That's our U-shaped dinette. I have the slide out also fully deployed for our TV, CD, DVD player, and electric fireplace deployed. We've got most of the lights on in the house actually turned on, and this is all running just straight off battery. So here's a quick tour of our kitchen. We've got just a small sink, a little bit of storage underneath, a counter extension, an oven which we actually just use for storage, and then we have a 4-burner cooktop here. A nice little hood with lights and a fan, and then we have a convection microwave, and we primarily use this when we want to bake something. We have like I said, we have the television here on the slide out right now. I am actually going to go ahead and test Hackers, one of my favorite films, and I just want to wear down the batteries a bit this morning. And then we have, like I said, the fireplace and the DVD CD player. I also did install a Fire Stick inside some time ago. You do need to remove this panel here and fish through some wires, but that wasn't too bad of a job. We do have additional seating here in the front, and then the 2 chairs in the front do swivel around to accommodate more seating. And then let's see if I can actually get better. On the cab on top, that's what makes it or the overhang on top, that's what makes it a Class C. We actually use that for storage because we don't sleep more than 2 people, just my wife and myself here. So it's great for carrying out all of our gear. And again, this is the Coachman Leprechaun 240 FS. We have a bit more storage here, first aid kit. A little bit more storage on the top for our cooking supplies. More storage down below. So as a prep item, you can actually load this up pretty good. I think our cargo carrying capacity is around 1,200 pounds. And then we do have slide outs, 3 of them for the drawers. And then a bit more pantry space in these 2 shelves here. We have a queen size bed. You can't sleep on this while the coach is moving. I did fold it out. Pretty quick to do, just takes about 2 seconds. What I love about this refrigerator is that it is dual fuel. It's a dual LP liquid propane and electric. So we can, when we're connected to shore power or the generator, run it that way. In general, we typically run it off of LP. It doesn't cost us a whole lot of money to fill up our 16-gallon tank, and running the refrigerator off of LP will actually run us, 30 days. So it's pretty nice and not terribly expensive. We do have a small walk-in closet with a couple of drawers. So for a Class C, it's actually kind of nice to be able to even go in here and change. Looks like I have an extra 6-day food supply in here. So again, this is our kind of backup home on wheels. And then restroom. So we got a small porcelain toilet, a small vanity, and a decent sized shower. So we have 50 gallons of fresh water, so that's plenty enough for us to go about 3 days. And then we have some more storage there. All right, guys, sorry for rambling. I wanted to take you with me while I was testing all the DC systems, and I thought it might be a good opportunity to kind of just show you what the place looks like. All right, guys, be strong, be safe, be prepared.